So, welcome to the Clueless Luthier. I'm Mark, and this is what I guess I'm calling part 2 of the binding video. And since what you're about to see already happened, I'm going to give you some clues along the way of something I totally forgot to do. So, you have the opportunity to figure out my mistake before I do, but after. Anyway, so on with the video. So I've secured this in my fancy, I don't know if you can even see it, clamping method here. This is okay. In this Dremel, what I'm using is this here is lined up with the edge of the bit. The idea is to cut it flush with the body first. I'll come back with the binding on a second pass. And one thing I'll explain before I suit up with all my safety gear here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the peaks. And I'm going to first go this way. Same here. I'm going to go down this way to here. Then I'll reverse myself and go down this way and this way. And the reason for this is that it's to avoid tear out. The bit is going in, a circular motion, and what I want to do is avoid pulling those pieces up. So let me get suited up here. Okay, once one edge done and 3 more to go, I should really do this closer to evening so I can have a cocktail afterwards. It is very stress inducing. So I'm going to do the other 3 and I'll be back. I have good news and I have some bad news. This all came out fine. No issues, except for this issue. The top and the back are both quite a bit thicker than normal, and it might be hard to. I should probably untape these to make it easier. This is not wide enough. That one barely will cover. This one, no, it won't cover it. I either need to come up with some wider binding, and this is kind of a standard size, or I have to get creative and add some dimension with something else to frame it in. I don't know what that is yet. So this is where I'm going to pause for the moment, and while I figure it out. I decided to work on the body of the guitar to solve the gap issue on the binding instead of the binding itself. Here's a picture of one of the worst offenders. First, I used a blade to cut into the brace sticking through so I could thin it out a little bit. Then I shaped a scrap piece of that same side and hammered it into place very tightly so that it would close up the gap. And finally, I used Titebond glue and any mahogany sawdust to fill any gaps that might still be there and sanded it flush. Once that I was satisfied with all the places where the braces came through, I used this sanding tool from Elevate Lutherie on a drill to make sure that the sides were all
totally flat and flush. It's really important when you get to the point of cutting the binding to make sure that everything is square. I put pencil marks on it so I could check as I went along to make sure that the entire surface was sanded. I then used the sander by hand just to make sure there weren't any divots put in by the previous sanding process.
So here comes the next really frightening part of this. So I leveled all this off, so I have a nice straight. I know the sides are nice and straight. The next thing is to use the Dremel to put in the router binding channel. And what I've done is I took a scrap piece of wood and I used that to make sure that I had the dimensions just right. I've locked it in, and so let's see if I can pull this off. All right, loosen this. It mostly went, okay, scary, but well, there's one spot I'm concerned about though. Yeah, the table, the guitar slipped down. I didn't obviously have it braced well enough. I got this little nick where it bent forward. I'm not sure what to do about that. I'll have to give it some thought. Maybe it's an inlay opportunity. I hadn't planned on an inlay on the back. But other than that, I think I'm in good shape. I had one other casualty as I was using the binding to make sure that everything was right as going along. I got careless. And I broke it. Now, the way it broke, I'm wondering if I can make this look good and not bend another one. I'm going to give that some thought because, whoops, I don't know if I can make this visible. When I put them, when I put them together, it really does, well, I can't hold it away from me and do it, but it does look pretty darn good. So that's the next thing to figure out, because now I'm ready to start gluing it on. Okay, I'm going to start on the top, and because I don't have to think about that blemish yet, get this on. So first thing, if I keep this to hold, is to mark the center. Make sure it's tight. The center is. So I cut that off. And this one is a lot less important because it's going to be covered. Okay. Take this off and I'll go cut it. I had a hard time trying to figure out a good angle to view this from, but let's try this. Okay, so let's get some tape here. Okay, somebody thought I'd show you on this. I gotta get that tape better, but I'll do it when I get this on. On this part, it's really important that this joint is good. And so what I'm gonna do is I cut it to length, and I'm gonna start from that end of the guitar. Yeah, that looks good. And work this way. So in the end, I decided to go ahead and put all the binding on. That little imperfection here, which I have to put another piece of tape on right there. I forgot about that. One moment. Pull that in. I think it's small enough I can patch it so no one will see it. I even used that broken piece of binding. It matched up really well. I'm going to give it a shot. If it doesn't work, I'll take the binding back off and I'll redo it. So I'll let this dry up and we'll see how it turns out. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, I think it worked out pretty well. I have to do some cleanup. The somewhere in here, let's see, I noted where the break of the binding was, and okay, maybe it was there. It's I can't see it. That's the point, especially with some sanding. So, if you haven't figured out what I forgot, I figured it out while I was cleaning it up. And I'm really happy. Yeah, I forgot to put the end cap on to hide that seam. And doing it now, I think, is pretty risky because to get a nice clean cut without cutting through the binding, I don't see happening. So I'll think about that. This may just not end up with one. It just may be the way it is. So thanks for following along, and I'll see you soon.